Hey everybody, it's Eugene Liscio here. Welcome to Click 3D. This is the program where we talk about photogrammetry and how you can use something as simple as a digital camera and some software to create some really compelling 3D models. Today, I have a guest. It's going to be Jon Adams. He's the director of 3D reality capture at DJS Associates, and we're going to be asking him some questions about how photogrammetry is in their workflow. So I'm going to bring Jon in here. There he is. How you doing, Jon?
Hey, good. How are you, Eugene?
Hey, not too bad. We haven't spoken a lot, but we have probably known of each other for many years now, I would say, no?
Yeah, I'd say probably 10 years or so. We used to actually have that original version of the Clouds to Max plugin that you guys developed. So I think that's when we first met a number of
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, a while back. So great. Can you tell just the viewers a little bit about what you do specifically at DJS?
Sure. I'm the director of 3D reality capture here at DJS. So I oversee all of our operations as far as, how we collect reality capture data. So laser scanning, drone data, and then how we go through the process of working with those two data sets, combining them, and
Hmm.
producing it for use in animations.
Right. And tell us a bit about DJS. What does DJS do?
Sure. DJS is a forensic consulting firm. We do a lot of accident reconstruction work. We also use our tools to do building documentation work and for use in architecture, but also historic preservation, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've seen some of your work. You guys do some pretty cool stuff, that's for sure, and
Yeah.
definitely educated on many areas and trying to push the limits, which is great. Do you remember the first time you heard about photogrammetry?
Yeah, I want to say, it was around 2013 when I really saw that for the first time, other than, the other end of it where you have like a single photo and you're trying to,
Hmm.
find what those measurements are in a single photo. The way that we're talking about it here was more related to the first kind of uptick in the use of drones when you had the Section 336 in the U.S. here. The rule for it. That was when we first started seeing it, and it was mind blowing that you could actually produce really rich 3D data just from photographs, and it was new to me at the time, and it's just been getting better ever since.
So was that when you first started with it? Was it 2013 or so?
Yeah, around there. Yep, with drones mostly.
Okay, yeah, interesting. And what would you say was the biggest problem that photogrammetry helped you solve at that time?
Um, Really, it was just the ability to kind of extend sites that we were collecting, laser scan data for on the ground, just to help give more additional context to where that data sat in reference to the surroundings. And when you bring those data sets together in 3D, it just kind of helps fill in some of those gaps to where
Mhm.
you can actually use that 3D data as your environment, and it looks correct because you got kind of some of that backfill, where you would have just kind of empty, gray areas or things that you have to manage otherwise in 3D.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
also the fact that the 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 visual quality of the data that comes out of the photogrammetry stuff is usually far superior than what you get out of the laser scanner, right?
Right, and yeah, the ortho mosaics that it outputs are really good for using that as like a road texture, because you're going to get very rich detail there on the quality of that road texture. Where if you just use the lidar data, you're going to have kind of pixelation, and it doesn't look quite as good.
Yeah. Can I ask about like what equipment and software you started with early on?
For photogrammetry,
Yeah.
yeah, mostly Pix4D. Yeah.
And what kind of drone did you have?
Actually, the first one we were flying was a Phantom 2 Vision Plus, I think, was it. So
Hmm.
an earlier version of the DJI Phantom drones. it didn't, it didn't have a lot of the object avoidance, and actually it had, even the radio connection was quite different. So it was more modular then, but that's where it started. I think now we're using mostly, Phantom 4s.
Yeah. And did you find did you find the learning process back then with respect to the photogrammetry part? Was it fairly simple for you? Was there like a bit of some hurdles?
Yeah, it was. It took quite a bit of time. It seemed like there was, it was early on, so you were still, their software required a lot more from the user, as far as, manual point picking to kind of get it started.
Hmm.
Give it more hints to start the process. But yeah, this the class that you had here with the 3DF Zephyr, that's very automated, very simple. Much less, back end kind of interaction. It kind of just handles that for you.
Yeah, yeah. Where did you first hear about the course, about the 3DF Zephyr course that I was having?
I think on LinkedIn.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. And so what prompted you to give that course a try?
I mean, I'm always trying to learn about different software packages to see, where one, a certain software package might be a little better than another, but also the kind of the real interest in that course specifically for me was kind of the small scale or close range stuff, where we were doing everything from 150 feet with a drone. So the close scale stuff we hadn't really done too much of. So this
Hmm.
kind of helped bridge that gap a bit.
Did you find there's some differences between like the close range stuff or small objects versus what you do with the drone, or typically how you'd fly it with a drone?
Well, with the drone, it's a lot kind of less control over the setting, because you show up wherever you are. It is what it is. It's bright sun, no clouds, and you just got to fly and grab that data. Where close range, you have a lot more control over the lighting, because you could probably handle that inside, and you can set a very high, f-stop value and a very slow shutter speed, because
Hmm.
you have the time to do that.
So is it fair to say that a lot of the close range stuff you do is like maybe documenting like damage on vehicles, or maybe there's some roadway issues that you want to get like up close, or what other things are you thinking that of up where can you apply this to?
Yeah, maybe just smaller than a vehicle, I would say,
Mhm.
is probably where we might go with it. Things like maybe car seats or something like that, or even, damaged pieces of equipment, whatever they might be, as long as they're conducive to photogrammetry and not too glossy. But
Right,
then there's
right, right.
always, the idea that you mentioned with the spray, where you can, make it a matte finish and go that way
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, for sure. There's some good tricks there actually. There's another one I've got to do another video on that one, but it's a way to use a projector. So if you have like just a regular projector,
Hmm.
you can if you have, for example, a very white object or something that is void of texture, even though it has good geometry, it could be problematic. But what you do is you use a projector to project the texture. And so you take a
Okay.
picture with the pattern and then without the pattern. And then you move
So like like a structured light.
right, right, and then you swap the images. That's something I got to do. That's another video I got to do. So
Yeah, that sounds cool.
they're piling up. But yeah, there's some pretty cool stuff you can do.
Yeah.
Um, you also, I mean, you guys do a lot of 3D modeling, and you work with 3D modeling software. So what are your main 3D modeling software packages?
Mainly 3D Studio Max. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. That's mostly where all of our modeling and animation takes place. And then we, handle a lot of other things outside of that, and say like, Photoshop or something like that.
And so when you're coming out of, let's say, the photogrammetry software, what's the typical output that you guys would use?
The point cloud. It can output the model,
Hmm.
but as far as, just file size and file handling, actually the points still handle a bit better than the actual faces you'd have on a geometric model.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're mostly dealing with the point cloud. We output that as E57 or LAS,
Right,
something
right,
along.
right. Okay. How many people do you have there that potentially do the photogrammetry, or either flying drones, or potentially could use this?
Yeah, we have about, I want to say, 8 or so licensed drone pilots. A couple guys that are the main ones, but there's definitely a lot of people that are able to do it. And then on the processing side, just a handful of guys, 3 or 4.
How, in terms of, for example, if you were to say how many times you use the drone or photogrammetry versus how many times you will choose to use laser scanning, or is it both? When you go out, do you typically do both? How do you decide sort of what to use, and what's the frequency of each of those technologies?
Yeah, if it's a site for us, in an accident scene,
Hmm.
where it's outside, we'll almost always use both, because they support each other in various ways. Um, so 90% of the time we're using both in that scenario. If it's a vehicle, it's probably just laser scanning, because as you know, the vehicles are hard for laser scanners and for photogrammetry, but the to get that good consistent product still seems to be the best route to go
Yeah,
for
I
laser
know. I
scanning.
know. Um, I was just thinking about what. Do you remember what model you did on the course? I was actually. I might even look at it. I might even bring it up. Which one did
Sure.
you do?
Yeah. No, it was the actually I got it right here.
Do you got it? Oh, you have it there with you.
Yeah, this guy.
Oh yeah. You know what? Let's bring that up. I think that's cool. You actually have the actual model beside you. So I actually
Yeah,
want to. I want to
he's
bring that
like
up.
an 8-inch garden sculpture frog. I've
No,
actually
you're.
had this guy in my office for a number of years. I use them on a lot of different tests for like art tech and things like that.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look for it. I want to bring it up because actually your model was. I remember uh, you had a very structured approach. When I remember like the way you took the photos and stuff. What did you use? What kind of setup did you have there?
So actually, previous to the frog, I had actually tried to do a chess set, and the results were so-so there, but mostly because a few of the chess pieces were glossy, had like a high gloss finish, so
Hmm.
the specularity on there didn't work very well for kind of closing up the holes in the mesh. Um, so then I switched over to the frog, because that's no gloss at all, very high texture piece. And then in both scenarios, I did it on a turntable, where you're spinning the turntable, the camera is static, and then using a remote shutter on the
Right.
camera.
Okay. Oh, that's a great. Yeah, that's a great setup. So yeah, using all that stuff. Now, did you find were you already fairly well versed with the camera? You felt pretty comfortable with the digital camera?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, ever since we had our first child, and numerous since, I wanted to get some good pictures, so I kind of taught myself, all the manual settings on the camera there.
Right, right, right. So one of the first things I look at, when people submit models is the structure, like how they took the photos, right? So, so I remember when I looked at this, the frog rang a bell because it was one that I remembered because you had a really great structure. And so if you look at the ring, nice ring up top, and for those of you that are going to be watching this video and looking at the structure of photos, you see that nice round circular rings all the way around, and you have different levels, right? And you've even got some that are closer and some that are farther away to really get the detail. And when you get in, it shows that you took some patience and you took some time here to get a really, really great model. Now, did you just do it in the office there, or at home, or because the lighting is pretty good too? It's fairly diffuse and there's not a lot of heavy shadows.
Yeah, actually, I can try to put this camera on it if you want. Right here.
Oh, you got it sitting there still.
Yeah,
All right, cool, perfect. I didn't plan this, so yeah, good for you. That's great that you still got it there.
yeah.
Uh,
No, he's always kind of hanging out in the office.
nice work. Well, that's great. Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I want to say here, but I think that's pretty good. I like what you did here, and I hope that you guys continue to use it. And it's interesting about the close range because it is a very interesting point. Something that I've mentioned on the like photogrammetry week and stuff is that a lot of people are using it for drones, and drones. And some of the people who are software developers and stuff that have pushed that area. I think they've done a great job of bringing more visibility to photogrammetry. But a lot of people have forgotten that you can just grab your damn camera and take photos of things that are right in front of you, the little things, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
it's very accessible. Yeah, actually, for close range, the I was really impressed by the quality of the mesh that came out of this software here through those photos. Not only the mesh, but the dense cloud. Even inside the eye socket there of the frog, which is not a very large surface at all on
Hmm.
this frog, but there's maybe 100 points in there of data, which I thought was amazing. And I don't know that there's anything else really that in such a short period of time could have captured that. Like I said, I've scanned it before with like an Artec EVA scanner, and even
Hmm.
that wasn't able to get that level of detail. And obviously, it's a much higher, much more expensive piece of equipment.
Yeah, but it all comes down to the camera, right? That's the thing. Like
Yeah,
if the laser scanner had like for example, if you could mount a proper digital camera on there and take photos, then you're talking about nice high quality textures, and you have more control over the types of photos that you take. Have you done any comparisons with this with other software or no?
yeah. So we actually use we still kind of use Pix4D here and there,
Hmm.
and we also use what's the other one, Metashape.
Metashape, yep.
But as far as ease of use and a friendly interface, to me, the 3ds Zephyr kind of wins out there,
Oh, nice.
just because it's very straightforward as to say, you know, hey, upload your pictures here and then check a few boxes and you're on your way.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I Metashape is great, and there's times when I'll use Metashape, and so I'm not trying to promote one over the other. And Pix4D has its spot too, right? So,
Mhm.
and it's funny because yeah, I have Metashape and I have 3ds Zephyr. I've got Photo Modeler, and I even had others before that I don't use as much anymore. But sometimes I've seen differences where, for example, Metashape will do a better job than 3ds Zephyr. And then I've seen the
Yeah,
opposite as well, where 3ds Zephyr produces a better model or something. So I'm not sure what they've got going on under the hood there, but it's definitely something different.
yeah, yeah. A couple changes, tweaks in the algorithm, I guess.
Yeah, probably. So, but well, look, I don't want to take any more of your time, but I want to say thanks for everything. I really appreciate you coming on and giving us some insight into your work and stuff like that. I'm very pleased that you were able to join us on the class and everything. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Your the quality of what you're doing certainly shows. It shows that you have some experience in this regard, and you can create some really great quality models. So
Yeah, thank you.
yeah, thank you. And hey, I wish you all the best. So just hang back and I'll just do a quick close here.
Will do.
All right, all the best. All right, folks. Well, that does it. And always great to get some insight from people who are using this. John is obviously an experienced person with 3D modeling and that sort of thing. And you can see how, him having control of the camera really produces a really good model, being able to take those really nice photos. And that's something that I like to put a lot of emphasis on. Photogrammetry is based on photographs. And so all best practices for photography apply there. So on that note, I'm going to say thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time on Click 3D. Thanks. Bye-bye.